Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love having our City Current partners come on talking about their world. And in this case, we're talking about accuracy, hiring, and so much more. We're honored to have with us Julie Henderson. She is the Chief Revenue Officer at DataFax. How are you doing?
Hi, Jeremy. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. DataFax, long-term City Current partner, doing amazing good when you talk about background screening, working with HR professionals, making sure that the information provided is accurate. Those are my words, but let's go ahead and dive in. Give us a little bit of history, because really cool storyline when you look at DataFax and the history, and obviously 100% women-owned too. So give us some background on DataFax.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a 100% woman-owned consumer reporting agency. We have been in business for over 34 years. And our founder and CEO, Daphne Large, started the business back in 1989. She worked for Equifax and really just kind of fell in love with everything around data and being able to supply data for multiple reasons. We actually started as a lending solutions organization that was supplying mortgage credit reporting to individuals who were, evaluating whether or not they should extend a mortgage to someone. And then we actually sold that division back in 2021, and now we are 100% focused on background screening. So we work with HR professionals, talent acquisition, and recruiters to help them find the very best talent out there by making sure that we're giving back the most accurate data on background checks and also on drug tests and a variety of other services as well.
One of the cool things is that you're based in the Mid-South, so Memphis home, but you work globally. So talk about that aspect, especially around the kind of customer service side.
Absolutely. So you are 100% correct. We started in Memphis. We're still headquartered in Memphis today. We have individuals all over the United States that work for us, some remote and some in other offices. But we have clients all around the world. So not only can we provide background checks for someone who, a company that's located in the United States that might be hiring someone who is from a different country, but we can also work with businesses in all countries around the world to help them with their hiring needs as well.
Talk about what that means for you all in terms of expertise, specialization, because I would imagine different laws, regulations, especially country to country and even state to state. So what does that mean for you all?
Absolutely. So staying on top of compliance is paramount for us. So whether it's domestically with the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the body of laws that govern background screening here in the United States, where it might be, within Europe with GDPR. We're always keeping our staff updated on all of these changing rules, laws, and regulations. They have to pass quarterly tests to make sure that they're up to date. And then we all are actually, every employee at DataFax has to be FCRA certified within the first 6 months that they're an employee. And then we all have to be recertified every 2 years. And it's a pretty tough test, I'll tell you. It's challenging for sure, but the recertification is so important because, again, those laws and regulations are changing all the time. So we always like to do that for all of our employees so that no matter who you get on the phone when you call DataFax or who may respond to your email, you can have the peace of mind of knowing that they are up to date and knowledgeable on all of those laws.
When you're sitting down with an HR professional, talent acquisition, what are the questions that you're asking them to make sure that you are accumulating the right information to give them to make the best decisions? So in other words, what sort of things are you trying to kind of hone in on to make sure that you're asking? Because I'm looking at like social media now, like all these things that become opportunities. How do you start to figure out which things you need to kind of line up?
Absolutely. So when we sit down with anyone in human resources or talent acquisition, we really want to hear about their experience. Jeremy, there are a lot of companies out there that do what we do, but not everyone does it the way that we do it. And so we always like to ask about their experiences with their current vendor, if they're looking to switch to DataFax, or maybe previous vendors before then, about what is their turnaround time? How long is it taking for them to get the background check back? I can't tell you the number of times I talk to people and they say, oh, it takes a week or 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, we can do this so much more quickly for you. And while speed is important, so is accuracy. So we're always wanting to make sure that we know the things that maybe they're required to be checking. So we work with a lot of regulated industries like healthcare, transportation, things like that. So always talk through to make sure that they're checking off all of those specific federal and state level databases that they've got to be checking. And then making sure that they haven't had, or if they are having any problems with accuracy, giving them some information about how we can make sure that they're always getting accurate reports back from DataFax, kind of asking questions around their process as well. And that's a huge thing nowadays about efficiencies for HR professionals as far as how are they placing their orders? Are they doing this through their applicant tracking system with an integration? Are they doing this manually? Are they using paper forms? Things that then actually take a lot of time, and really diving in and seeing how we can help them improve their efficiencies, because time is money for sure.
Give us an idea of some of the trends. And, going back to my comment about the social media, I think that's one where, are you looking at social media in terms of the background screening? Like, what are the trends? What are the things that you're seeing that could be good or possibly challenging?
Sure. So I always tell people, you might not be doing social media screening with your background check provider, but your managers are very likely doing it on their own. And that's very risky, because they could be seeing things that they don't need to be seeing, things that are protected under the EEOC, maybe someone's age or race or things of that nature that then, could lead them to have a bias about whether or not they want to hire that person. So it's really best to leave social media screening to the professionals like us, because the product that we have is EEOC compliant, and it's also FCRA compliant. So, employers can feel really comfortable in knowing that they're only going to get information back that falls into certain buckets, things like illegal behavior, criminal behavior, things around drugs. And then once they receive that information, they can decide what they want to do with it and how it goes along with their brand and their policy around their brand. Because, a lot of times people who have very risky social media profiles aren't necessarily criminals, but there is some behavior within that can then help employers identify people who might ultimately end up making poor decisions and have some convictions under their belt at some point. So that is definitely a hot trend right now. Another hot trend right now is federal criminal record searches. It's not typically something that people, unless they're in one of those regulated industries, it's not typically something that people will include kind of in their base background screening package. But as more and more people are learning about federal criminal record searches, what they're understanding is that a lot of times these convictions, they're held in a completely different court system. So someone, that has an assault record or something like that, that's going to come back in what we typically refer to as a county criminal record search. A federal criminal record search is looking at 94 federal districts across the country, and a lot of things can pop up on that. They're really definitely things you want to know. Things like embezzlement, child trafficking, pornography charges, things that might not come back if you're just doing a base level county search. So I always tell people that, it's not as common to find convictions under a federal criminal record search, but man, when we get them, it is something you want to know and you're glad you know. So that's definitely gaining a lot of traction as well.
What is rescreening?
Oh, yeah. Rescreening and monitoring. Both of those things are also gaining a lot of attention. I always tell people, just because someone's not a criminal when you hire them doesn't mean that they won't become one. And so if you have some employees at your business that have been there for, 10, 15 years, when you did your original background check, it may have been totally clear. But it's always a good practice to have some sort of rescreening policy. Now, what you do with that policy, we always advise people to speak with their legal counsel, but to have some sort of policy, whether it's rescreening your employee base once every year, once every 5 years, or we have a lot of our clients that like to use criminal monitoring, which basically is just always kind of running in the background and will alert them if someone on their payroll has a criminal conviction that comes up. So there's many different ways to do it. And one of the things that we always hear about, it's a little bit of a pushback would be, man, if I do this rescreening and my favorite employee comes back and has something, then I'm going to have to fire them. And that's when we say, really work with your legal counsel to develop a policy around what would be some of those main disqualifiers where you would have to let someone go, and what could be something where maybe someone's on probation, or you have a talk with HR or whatever it might be. So there's definitely ways to do it to keep your employees safe, or if you're, a client-facing business, if you're, in retail or hospitality or healthcare, to make sure you're keeping your customers safe as well.
What's something that excites you when you look at like technology, how DataFax is leveraging technology, the efficiencies, some of these changes? What excites you about 2024 in terms of where background screening, all these kind of things are headed?
Yeah, that's a great question. So before I joined DataFax and before I got into background screening, I really just thought that all of this was just kind of a push button background search, right? Like I could find out everything I want to know about somebody by just going to one place and searching for it. And that is just not how it works at all. You would think, in 2023, that especially the United States, we'd have it a little bit more together on how to put all of this data together and find it in one spot, but we don't. But what excites me is we are getting closer with that. So around here, we always are vetting new sources and new technology, even AI, to see how we can include that in the process as well. However, we never want to, rely solely on technology when we know that the results that it gives back isn't as great. So we're always doing that vetting process, making sure that any new sources that come along, whether it's things that states put together or a federal level source, that we do our research, we make sure that the information that's coming back is the most up to date before we implement that with our clients. And then kind of on another front with technology, we've got over 75, well, I think now we're pushing closer to 80 different integrations with applicant tracking and HRIS systems. And kind of what I was saying before, that is something that can really help HR professionals with efficiencies in the process around background screening. They're not going to have to log into our system. They can do everything from within their own system. We actually have a promotion going on right now that's super savings for screening. And anyone that becomes a client through the end of 2023, we are waiving their applicant tracking integration fee. We normally have like a one-time fee, and we're waiving that for anyone that comes on before the end of the year. We have so many integrations in the works right now. We've got, very large percentage of our client base currently utilizing applicant tracking system integrations. And it's just really the way of the future. We're partners with a lot of different applicant tracking systems out there like UKG and iCIMS. And so I really get excited about that stuff because that's really where it can make a difference for our clients and their business, how efficient they are, how quickly they're able to hire, and how then they can grow. And I always say when they're successful, we're successful.
Let's carry that into some recognitions, including HRO Baker's Dozen Award. So talk about what this award is and why this is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. This makes me so incredibly proud of our team. So HRO Today is an organization that they have a magazine, they do different educational webinars, but they also each year do the HRO Baker's Dozen, and they do that in a variety of categories. So it's not just for employment screening. Obviously, that's the category we fall in, but they also do it for a variety of other things like outsourcing and staffing and all of that. And so for the past 10 years, they've had the employment screening category. And what's really unique about this is that for anyone to make this HRO Baker's Dozen list, they one, have to be nominated, and two, the only way that you can make the list is by the feedback from your current clients. So we can't buy our way onto this list. We have zero influence on any of the comments that are given from our client base back to HRO Today. And HRO Today has no hand in it either. They are really just looking through the data that they receive. And I'm so proud to say that for the 6th year in a row, we are part of that top 13 best background screening companies in America. It's something I'm extremely proud of because it's about what our clients think. I can talk about DataFacts all day long and how great I think we are, but it really matters what they think. And for the past 2 years too, we've been on the enterprise list. So Jeremy, I know you know this, but we've grown a lot over the years. And the first 4 years that we made it onto this list, we were on the mid-size list. And as we've continued to grow, I think that has been measured by what our clients have had to say too. And so we're on the enterprise list for the past 2 years. And again, I can't stress how proud it makes me because it really goes to show that no matter what one of our employees does here at DataFacts, whether they're in customer service or in sales, compliance, accounting, our clients feel that. And it takes all of us together as a group to achieve this. And it's just something I'm really proud of.
Before we wrap up with website contact information, talk about community service, community engagement, philanthropy, because that's another thread that runs throughout the organization that's really impressive.
It is. That's something that's always been really important to Daphne and is definitely important to all of our leaders. And one of my favorite things that we do around here is we support youth villages. They're local to Memphis, but they're also headquartered in Memphis, but they're also all over the country. And once a month, we have employees from our Memphis office that go over to youth villages and do a birthday celebration for the kids who have birthdays that month. And so that's definitely one of my favorite things that I love doing. We also do other activities with them, like pumpkin decorating in the fall and different holiday activities. And of course, Jeremy, we love partnering with City Current and all of the awesome things that you guys do philanthropically as well. And then also all of the different businesses that work through City Current, not only in Memphis, but in Nashville, and partnering with them to do unique things too. It's just really awesome, all of the work that you guys do.
Yeah, you and your team are always giving back, and it's amazing. So wrap up with where we can go to learn more about DataFacts. So website, social media, phone number, where would you direct everyone to go?
Yeah, definitely on our website, which is datafacts.com. You can put the W's or not. It's still going to work either way. And we do, you might see on there, we have a chat feature, and that is not a bot. Those are real live people. So if you ever have any questions or anything, a lot of our clients and people who need stuff, they just love using that chat feature because they can multitask. They can do different things. Our 1-800 number is on our website as well. And of course, we're on LinkedIn. You can find us by searching DataFacts. And then on Facebook, if you search DF Screening, and then same thing on X. Now I got it right. I didn't say Twitter. X, DF Screening as well. So our marketing team does a great job of always keeping everyone up to date on that. We share a lot of blogs and infographics and interesting things. We hope you all will follow us.
Absolutely. Well, Julie Henderson, Chief Revenue Officer with DataFacts, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeremy. Thanks.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.